Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more the butthole, maybe some relationships too. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's dive into today's first story. This story is from friend Conflict 54 who says, my 20 female friend 21 female is going to great lengths to prove that my boyfriend 24 male is cheating, even though I know he isn't. So I live with Emily, a person I met a couple of years ago. We became fast friends, admittedly moved in together last year out of convenience, but have stayed true to our friendship, which has definitely strengthened. My boyfriend is Sam, someone I met about a year and a half ago. We've been dating for just over a year, with our relationship transitioning into a long distance relationship about 5 months ago, because Sam moved for work. I never thought that there were any issues between Emily and Sam. In our early stages, she was very gracious and seemed to know the perfect balance between socializing with Sam and giving us space. It was only when Sam moved away that she started making little comments about how funny it would be if Sam had a side chick in his new city, or that I was actually a side chick and he's gone home to his family. There is no way this is true. Sam has always been honest and open and has always mentioned that he quickly shuts girls down if they tried on with him. And as for the family thing, I helped him move into his small 2-room apartment and not a family home. I've always shut down this very quickly whenever Emily starts on with it. However, recently she's been taking extra steps to try and make me believe that my boyfriend is cheating on me. She told me over dinner that the other day she had proof that Sam had slid into the DMs of one of her friends and showed me a screenshot of Sam's secret Twitter account hitting on her friend about 9 months ago. This account was not Sam's username at all, and just in case it had been a secret account, I searched the username and it came up with a profile of a 15-year-old boy, also called Sam. Though I told Emily this, she was insisting that this profile was my Sam and that he was clearly catfishing using this kid, or that he was Sam's younger brother. Sam has no younger siblings. Last night she sent me an SOS message saying that there was an emergency. But after rushing home to see what was happening, she said that the emergency was Sam doesn't have his Facebook relationship on his profile, and that it was obvious he's trying to appear single. The reason his relationship isn't public is because I asked for it not to be, since I don't believe that my relationship status is everyone's business. We are in a relationship on Facebook, but only privately. Yet again, I explained this to Emily, and she still tried to argue that he could still be cheating and that I was subconsciously manipulated to keep the status private by him. I really wasn't. I'll clarify here that I've never said to Emily that I think Sam will cheat on me in his new city, because I don't. Simple enough. It may have been that she was jealous or wanted him for herself, but she is in a relationship of her own. Her boyfriend of 2 years is over usually 2 to 3 nights a week. I'm definitely going to put her on an information diet regarding my relationship, but should I consider going further? Now obviously the information diet is a step in the right direction, but if I was in your position, I definitely feel like I would be going further with this. I wouldn't want Emily in between my relationship at all, because all she's trying to do right now is to do damage to it. I mean, she sent you an SOS saying there was an emergency and it was to do with Sam doesn't have his relationship on his profile. That seems like unhinged behavior to me, and like you said, it is going at great lengths to try and prove that your boyfriend is cheating or being, shady in some way. And this is only going to do damage to your relationship. But we do have an update to this, but we're going to start with Brendan, who says, your friend is the world's shittiest detective. Doughchild says, is there a benefit for her if you are single? Like, do you bring Sam over to your place a lot, or are you planning to move on soon with him and away from her? Has she ever been cheated on in a similar situation? Lock your room and watch your phone. It shouldn't be, but that's how she'll get information if you stop telling her about you and Sam. Do tell her that you are no longer going to respond to her emergencies and put her on mute when possible. Then you only get upset when you're no longer busy. Suspect Robot says she sounds a bit unstable and drama queenie, to be honest. This is a case of has crazy theory, tries to get facts to fit. It doesn't really matter what her motive is. Tell her bluntly that you feel she's trying to ruin your relationship and that if she doesn't stop, the friendship will be over. Dragontooth Garden says, what sane, reasonable person sends a freaking SOS message so you come home right at that moment to find the profile of a 15-year-old named Sam? There is something very, very wrong here, and I don't mean just a bit of weirdness or jealousy. It doesn't even feel like jealousy. It seems like she loves drama, wants to maybe see you hurt / under drama, and the only drama she can create is this boyfriend cheating bullshit. The obvious problem with that is unstable people who go to such lengths, and she's just starting and refuses to stop this insanity, as these people don't improve, they intensify. If you want to keep living with her, all you can do is say the subject is closed. You don't care if she sees him fucking some girl right in front of her eyes, because it'd be a guy that looks just like him. The topic is closed for discussion. Over. Done. Never repeat again. And one more from a deleted user who says, first, I'll tell her what happened last night was by no stretch of the imagination an emergency, and you're going to be pissed if she tries to pull something like that again. Then you need to shut her down hard each and every time she brings it up. As to her motivations, maybe she just wants you to break up so you can find a local boyfriend that she and her guy can be couple friends with. So OP's update says, so I posted a few days ago about my housemate Emily, who made it her life's mission to try and make me see that my long distance boyfriend Sam was cheating on me. After posting my original post, I sat Emily down and told her that I would not be engaging in conversation with her about Sam at all. She tried to claim it was all in my best interest to listen to her, but did rein it in. Drama over. Until it all blew up. I got a very angry message yesterday from Emily's boyfriend calling me every name under the sun, including a homewrecker. I asked him what the hell was going on, and he said that he knew all about how I'd been cheating on Sam and how I'd convinced Emily to do the same to him. It turns out, he'd found out that Emily was on Tinder and was talking to guys and had even met up with a couple and done whatever. I had no clue she was doing this. Whenever she left the house for the night, she always said she was staying at her boyfriend's. I told him in no uncertain terms that I had not encouraged Emily to cheat on him and I was not cheating on Sam. He then tried to claim that Emily had told him I was away getting some Tinder guy on a specific evening, that I wasn't in the flat. I was celebrating Sam's birthday with him in his city and had the time and date photos to prove it. And of course Emily knew where I really was. I have no clue whether or not her boyfriend believes me, but I haven't had any other messages from him since. Emily was wailing on my door about 10 minutes later, saying that her ex-boyfriend had gone insane and she only cheated because he was abusive. I can't say I saw anything, but I also can't say this was a definite lie. And she was scared about his reaction, so she said I was involved. She then said I would understand her position if I had broken up with Sam like she wanted me to. I'll admit, that got my attention. I asked what she meant, and she said that she had wanted us both to be free from our partners, but she knew I wouldn't cheat on Sam, so tried her best to convince me that he was cheating so I would leave him. She got the door slammed in her face, even if she did want an escape from her own abusive relationship. Her non-stop attempts to persuade me to leave my boyfriend just for her own gain is enough for me just to cut her off. I didn't even wait until Emily woke up this morning to put my plan to move out in action. The landlord has been contacted and is very understanding. We're very close to the end of our tenancy anyway, so I'm breaking my lease and I'm going to spend the night in a friend's spare room before making my next move. I might write her a goodbye note, but she hardly deserves it. I've been wondering for a while whether or not I should move to be with Sam. I think this is going to be a big part of my decision. Also, a lot of comments in the original post were suggesting that something had happened between Sam and Emily while he was still living in this area, and she was trying to make me see that without coming clean. I didn't reply to any comments because I know the sort of responses I would have got to, I know he's not cheated on me with Emily, but I do know he didn't. He never contacted Emily privately and was really only friendly to her because she was my housemate. Sam was just unlikely to cheat with Emily as I was with any of his friends, family or housemates. I know some of you may still think that he could have cheated or cheat in the future, and I can't definitively say he didn't and won't, but I'm not going to ruin my relationship with what if style thoughts. And like you said, you can't say what's going to happen in the future, but we've In these particular stories and posts that we've covered in the past, we've seen a lot of what if style thoughts damage relationships. But I've got to say, Emily doesn't sound particularly stable from what I've read in this particular post, where she said that she wanted both of you to be free from your partners. Some next level thinking that. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from a throwaway account, which is titled, "Am I the arsehole for refusing to let my future husband lie about the house he and I purchased during his groom speech? My fiance, 37 male, and I, 33 female, got engaged a few months ago. We're getting married soon and invitations were already sent out. Right now we're focusing on much smaller details. We've also been busy moving into our new home that we purchased together. 30% of his savings plus 70% of mine. I have to say that saving up for this house took most of my savings and prevented me from enjoying the things I love spending money on. My fiance sat me down yesterday to talk about his groom speech. He talked about a few points, but what made me upset was when he asked if I would be okay if he mentions the house we bought and say that he was the one who bought it. I was a bit taken aback. I asked why, and he said it's just a confidence boost during the speech and that's it. I said I didn't feel comfortable with the idea because I think it's unfair not to acknowledge the fact that I'd sacrificed so much to be able to buy the house. I reminded him of how much I contributed, but he said this doesn't change that it's our house, so it shouldn't matter to me if he said he bought it himself or we both did. I refused because then people will always think the house was bought by him, which is something that will never change no matter how hard I try to prove that I contributed 70%. He got mad at me and said that I was really overthinking this whole thing and making a big deal out of it. We got into an argument and he started yelling, saying it's just one favour he's asking me to do and yet I'm making this ridiculous, small request, my hill to die on. He's basically sulking and now he's out and refusing to answer my calls, so basically he started the silent treatment till I cave in. Am I the arsehole for making this my hill to die on? Now a part of me straight away is thinking, he's already told a lot of people, he paid for this house and now he can't go back on it. But another thing, how is he going to include this in his groom speech? Just like stand up in front of everybody and go, I purchased the house, everybody. And surely of all things, at your wedding where you two are coming together as a couple, you'd want to boast that, jointly you've purchased a house together as a couple as well. So I don't understand what he's doing in this, and that's what makes me think, he's already told people in the past that, he purchased the house. I can't blame you at all for making this your hill to die on. I would be wanting to do the same as well. Absolutely not the arsehole. But Misanthropic Egg says not the arsehole, and I will bet he's been telling people that already. I Might Be a Weasel replied to that saying, definitely, that would explain why he won't back down. He's already in too deep. I also wouldn't be shocked if OP ends up finding out he got money from someone for the house and spent it on something else. Also, not the arsehole. Lord Brocktree replies to that one saying, which I don't understand. Like, I earn 90% of the money in my relationship, and even when I talk about us saving for a house, it's us. I make it pretty damn clear that I am useless without my wife doing things like reminding me to eat, lol. All of my accomplishments are our accomplishments. Like, you can brag as much as you want and still seem impressive. We have been saving and sacrificing for this awesome house. Guys, let me tell you, the place is going to be awesome. Yeah, me and my super gorgeous fiance have been working so hard. We can't wait to have everyone over. Like, that's still an awesome brag, but I guess I'm always impressed by healthy teamwork in a relationship, so. Crock of Pot says, in quotes, I reminded him of how much I contributed by saying this doesn't change that it's our house, so it shouldn't matter to me if he said he bought it himself or we both did. And it says, am I reading this sentence correctly? He's saying it shouldn't matter to you if you both bought it, but it's okay for it to matter to him, so much that he's going to announce it to both of your families and your wider social circle at the wedding. Ooh, the hypocrisy. In my opinion, this is a hill worth dying on. Yes, on the surface level, it's just words in a speech, but the deeper issue is that he does not value your massive contribution to your shared life, and he wants to paint a false picture to your shared friends and family denying it. He's basically setting you up to be painted as a gold digger when he's the one benefiting from your scrimping and saving. I have a hard time believing this is the only instance of this level of disrespect in your relationship. And if you ever have kids, I'm certain you can look forward to him moaning to all your friends and family that he does so much work as a father. Read, change one diaper. while you actually shoulder the majority of childcare. If you don't have kids, I imagine it'll be something else like that. I really hope I'm wrong and this is just temporary brainworms on his part, but either way, not the arsehole. And A Bundle of Joy X says, don't cave in. Let him run the silent treatment. Also rethink about marrying this guy. He's behaving like a child, not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? What would you do if you was in OP's position? Would you allow him to do this in his groom speech, or would you be saying no? Would you make this your hill to die on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Fickle Life 9867, titled, Am I the Arsehole for making my sister-in-law feel like shit about her weight? 35 female and my sister-in-law is 46 female. I have 3 children, the oldest being 16 male. For my birthday last week, my son went out and bought me this swinging hammock chair that I've been wanting for 2 years, and it cost him quite a bit of his saved money, which I fully intend to put back into his bank account so he can continue saving. He was so excited to see me open this gift and couldn't wait to help me set it up. I told him he shouldn't have, that it was a lot of money, and his response was, you never get anything nice, I wanted you to have it. And it was true. I usually don't get anything for my birthday or Christmases outside of Tupperware or soaps, so it might sound stupid, but I've cherished this swing ever since he got it for me, especially where I finally have something nice that's mine. My sister-in-law comes over once a week to see all of us, and she immediately headed straight for my swing, which my son hooked up on our deck. I told her to please not sit on it, and she said, is there a weight limit? So I told her yes, 250 pounds, and I even showed her the box to confirm. She was not upset about this. She just said, that's a bummer, they need to make something capable of holding us big girls. I simply agreed with her and went about my business. At this point, my husband shows up from work. When I went outside to grab us some drinks, her and my husband are talking on the porch, and not even 5 minutes later, I hear a loud crash and my husband say, fuck, you were right. I go out and sure enough, she has sat in my swing, and the crochet netting around the hook snapped on one side, causing her to fall right on her ass. She is sitting there laughing, gets up and says, I guess I need to learn to listen. So I lost it. As I said above, I literally never get anything nice. Never. This is the one thing that I had that was mine, and it didn't even take someone a freaking week before they ruined it for me. So I said, I literally just fucking told you not even 20 minutes ago that it would not hold you and to please not fucking sit in it. She makes some comment about usually the weight limit is a lie. I thought it would hold, so I said the weight limit probably would have held if you were only 50 pounds heavier than it, not 150. She is 420-ish pounds because she is one of those girls who eats food on camera for money, and she absolutely loves her weight. But regardless, instead of apologizing or offering to compensate me for my destroyed item, she is restored to saying I'm a shitbag for making her feel like her weight is a problem and my husband is on her side. It's just a fucking swing. Am I the arsehole? Now, this is definitely a not the arsehole to me in this particular situation. You know, you told her not to sit in it. She's the one that questioned about the weight limit, so you told her about it and, you know, still decided to go sit in it anyway and broke it. And this is something your 16-year-old son had saved for, put a lot of thought into it, said something really nice to you, like you never get anything nice and I wanted you to have it, and that was all just taken away in one moment, which is hugely upsetting. And not just that, but she sat there laughing about it as well, and then gets upstairs and I guess I need to learn to listen. And I know people laugh when they're embarrassed and, you know, as a sort of defense kind of thing. But surely you'd immediately want to be hearing an apology, I will replace it for breaking it, etc, etc. But I didn't hear any of that in that story. Whether it was in there or not, I don't know, obviously. But CC Top says, not the arsehole, your sister-in-law needs to compensate you for it, as well as apologize. She is heavy, she knows it. She deliberately sat in your swing even though she knew the weight limit was lower than her weight. As far as I'm concerned, she has pretty much broken it intentionally. Also, any decent person gets embarrassed when they break something that doesn't belong to them, no matter how it happens, especially if the owner gets upset about it. Instead, she is playing the you fat shame me card to get out of the situation. The grumbliest puppy says everyone sucks here. Yeah, it was an asshole behavior of her to ignore your request not to use the swing, but it wouldn't be a big deal at all if she apologized and replaced it. It sounds like you might have freaked out before she had a chance. Also kinda went straight to insulting her weight, making it a hostile situation. I'm also a little suspicious of anybody that says, repeatedly, I literally never get to have anything nice. Kinda indicative of narc behavior. But regardless of all that, she still owes you a replacement and apology. If you break someone's stuff, you don't get off the hook for replacing it if they are rude. Troubled Nature says, I really don't understand these grown adults angrily cursing at each other. Did you never learn how to communicate without yelling and using fuck every other word? Everyone sucks here. Sister-in-law shouldn't have sat in your swing. When she did, she should have been contrite and immediately told you she'd replace it. You shouldn't have come out screaming profanity at your sister-in-law. Husband shouldn't have minimized the value of your swing. Your son bought you with his hard-earned money. This whole interaction could have gone so differently. I understand your frustration, but you are 35 years old. It's time to learn how to communicate more effectively. Your little birdie says, not the arsehole, she destroyed something special of yours and didn't even apologize. I'm sure she's very embarrassed, but she knew the consequences of her actions and did it anyway. Your husband sucks too. And one more from prestigious Isopod72 who says, not the arsehole, you weren't fat shaming her. She literally ignored and dismissed your warning about the weight limit on your cherished birthday present, and now she is 100% responsible for destroying it, but refusing to take responsibility. You're simply holding her accountable for what she did, and you're absolutely entitled to be angry. She is the arsehole for this, and your husband is an arsehole as well for not supporting you. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? Do you agree with the everyone sucks ears or not the arseholes, or do you have a different opinion on the matter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support and time always means the absolute world to me, and I just want you to know that, so thank you so much for what you do. It really does mean the world. And hopefully, I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
Man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. You just don't, still selling false